I pride myself on having really great character names and also like to be able to grab my name.
Yeah.
So just saying like, okay, going AFK. Huh. And then like, wait a minute, I can make this a thing. And then, I just went from there. And fun fact, I have an item in the game named after me.
What?
Yeah.
That's freaking cool, dude.
I know.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Like if you look up on Wowhead, if you look up KAYT, like you'll see my item.
I'm kind of
and it's actually an alcoholic drink in the game.
No way. Hold on.
Yeah,
I'm looking this up right now. So I played WoW on release.
Yes.
And I and my dear friends at the time, all my close friends and I, we did like a lot of WoW for like at least 3 or 4 years. And then we all got jobs and grew up and then just ran out of time to like group together. But
yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, so I felt less compelled for a while, but every so often I'll like check in on what's going on and see what's what, log into my priest and see how things are going. But that's so cool.
It's so driven by like people, right? And I've been in my guild for at least 10 years, probably a little bit longer than that, my current guild. And we still run like weekly things together, and we've kind of over time like a bunch of us have had like families and sort of I don't want to say like grown up or whatever.
I mean,
but it's interesting like to I don't know. When people say like, oh, online friends aren't real friends, I strongly disagree.
Yeah.
I've made some of my best friends that way.
I found your item, and that's wild. Takari and Kayt, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
God.
That's my in-game item. And the only way you can get it is through an engineering item.
Blingtron.
Blingtron, because
yeah.
all of my tunes used to be at least like, you know, you have two professions or whatever. All of them had engineering. I was just really into engineering in the game. It's changed over time. It's not like sometimes it doesn't feel as cool as it used to, but I was so it was just like really hardcore into it.
This is so great. Wow, I love that. I love learning that fact.
It's like it's my tidbit.
Yeah, that's so
my claim, my gamer cred.
Yeah, gamer cred. Man, I love that. That's so cool.
My gamer cred. Yeah. No, WoW means a lot to me. Like I started playing it it must have been in high school.
Yeah.
And it was an outlet for me for sure for a very long time. I started playing it because a few of my high school friends were playing. I'm like, okay, we'll play together. And then you know, people would come and go in my friend group, like in the game and stuff like that. And over the years, I would definitely felt like I could turn to the game to just have a space that felt comfortable. And it was like, I call it my comfort game. You know, you have that game where it's like muscle memory and it just feels like you can slide into it whenever. That is what that game is for me. So even though like I'm not as sweaty playing the game these days, I mean,
it's like a home, right? Like you can go back anytime, like see what's up and how it's going. That's really
exactly.
Cool. I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
What a cool tidbit to just kick off this whole thing with. Like normally it takes like 20 minutes to get a super unique fact about the person on the show, and you just open with it. So I have high expectations.
We're in the meat. We got a big juicy bite.
In it. We're in it.
We're in it.
Chat, I want to welcome you. If you're new here, my name's Amor. as in more and more the channel itself. But we are recording an episode of Crossing the Streams, which is a podcast I've been doing for a couple of years now. We're on like episode 85. And we get to know creators and we learn about what they do and who they are and their communities and the things they're passionate about. And of course, if you have been listening for the last like 5 minutes, you just learned some interesting tidbits here about our friend afkayt or Kate, who I met through the Lego and BrickBuilding category when it was launched in Shiny and New, and I was clicking around and really loved the vibe of your channel. And so I watched for a while, and then I was like, hey, let's talk. Let's find out more about who you are and what you do. So yeah. So thank you for being here, and thank you for anyone that's new to the channel or here for Kate. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Thank you for taking the time. So I really appreciate it. I know how hard it is as just, doing all the things that we do. So thanks for taking the time. CMA22 in the chat says, have you gone back to Classic?
Ooh, yes. So I have not actually. I thought about it. And I lived Classic and I loved it. And it was like that sort of capsule of time for me. That just, I don't think I could recreate that. A lot of folks that I play with these days, they didn't go back to Classic. And for me to find like, I don't know, a new group of folks to play with is sort of like intimidating. But I mean, I love the vibes. Like I love the pared down sort of like seeing the game that way again, because there's just so over time, like obviously it's a 20-year-old game. There's a lot going on. Like if anyone is jumping in these days, I'm like,
how are you supposed to learn this game?
Yeah, it's a lot as a kind of a new thing. And they've done a lot as far as quality of life improvements in the game. I just, I don't have a ton of time to like game anymore. So when I am, I'm doing it in like retail. So, but how much of a time sink the old grind was. It was like super grindy. It is still pretty grindy. I actually just finished up a grind before this podcast. I was grinding out a mount and I managed to get it, which is great. But like still, I haven't gone back. I appreciate those times. And it's great that a lot of folks are enjoying it too, and that the dev team is going back and bringing back the classic like Cataclysm and all the other expansions and stuff like that for people to re-experience them or to experience them for the first time. I think it's cool. I just don't have the time investment. I know I would want to I'd want to get into it. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah. I didn't get when it launched, I tried it out. I was like, oh yeah, this is great. And then I just remembered how much of a commitment that can all turn into, which I mean, play however you want, but like to really feel like you're getting the most out of it, you really want to be in there and doing things regularly and leveling up your character and doing the dungeons and doing everything. And I remembered how much of that was, and I wouldn't be able to pull that off now, right? Like, as an adult with a family and kids and other things and a job, and like when I played it extensively, I was like a college kid who had, I'd go to class and do my homework, but I'd have time. I was like, stay up till 2? Sure. Why not? I got nothing but class at 8 a.m. and somehow I made that work. But like now, like the prospect of that is like, maybe if it's a Friday in a blue moon, I'd be cool with that. But like, that's not. I
feel that.
Yeah.
It's like, then I could so easily run on like no sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of hours, and I'd be great. Next morning, I'd be like, all right, let's go, like do my things and then do the whole thing over. And now I'm like, no way. I can't. I'm just not built for it anymore. I mean, I am a night owl for sure.
Yeah,
I do stay up late,
same.
but I am a disaster if I don't get enough sleep. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I admit I still stay up late in game, even at, like at
yep,
my, like these days, like I do that, but it's very different, right? Like
we
it's,
pay for it.
yeah, like I have a hard time in the morning. Like I'm pretty
Mhm.
useless for like the first hour or two of the day until I can like either get some caffeine in me or settle into what I'm doing. And I just can't
Yes.
sustain that every night. Like I could as
Mhm.
a 20 something, right? And
Yeah,
I
same.
yeah, no, you feel it. So it's, I just, when I think about like any MMO or anything like that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I always get hyped for MMOs when I see a new one or an expansion for one comes out. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. This would be really cool. And then I remember I don't have time for that. And so,
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried other MMOs. You know, folks in my community or like friends I have are like, "Hey, have you tried ESO or Final Fantasy 14 Online?" I'm like, they look amazing. They're like awesome features and quality of life things and stuff like that. I'm just I can't I don't
yeah,
have the time to invest in it.
yeah,
And when I do have time, I want to go to my familiar, you know, Azeroth.
yeah,
Like this.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's so cool to learn about you. That's awesome.
I don't talk about WoW often I don't play WoW on stream. I actually don't game
On
on
stream.
stream.
Yeah.
And so when some folks who are like newer or, you know, if I haven't talked about it on stream, I'll talk about WoW on stream for sure. But yeah, I don't play it.
Yeah.
I did game for a very short amount of time on stream, like when I started streaming.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find my place in the streaming world, I guess. It seemed like the thing to do was okay, people are playing games on stream.
Yeah.
Um, but like these days, with games, I'll back up a little bit. When it
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
to gaming streams, it's like there are a few different types of streamers, right? You have the like elite, like pro gamer level, like super skilled players.
Hmm.
And then you have folks who are just having fun and really it's about the personality. Sometimes it's a combo of those things. For me, like it's hard for me to deal with backseat gaming and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to deal with it. Pro gamers.
Yeah. Those pro
I
gamers
just
out
don't
there.
want to I just don't want to deal with it. Sometimes I want to, like just stumble through things, discover stuff myself, figure it out myself. If I want help, I'll ask for it.
Hmm.
But I found that like a lot of games were oversaturated on Twitch, and it was just really tough to find an I don't know a way to stand out, I guess, amongst it. And it's
Hmm.
not impossible at all. Um, but like I think some folks don't really like to admit that there is an element of luck when it comes to like popping off, I
Oh yeah.
guess, especially in the gaming space on Twitch.
Yeah, it's
So,
definitely like it's a difficult thing to, especially like you said, it can be saturated. Like it can
mhm,
be one of those things where it's like uh you might have your favorite game, and for you, like WoW is one of those games, right, where you're like, I love this game. And that specifically right there is like a saturated game. Like that is, it would be
super.
really hard if you're starting from scratch, you don't have a community, or you're getting started, and like how do you get noticed, right? It's like it's really difficult. So when
Yeah.
you know when you try to like get on Twitch and make content or do streams, it's like what do I do, right? So for you, you just decided no games. Or how did
Yeah.
this all,
No
you said you
more.
kind of did, right? Like what, how did this all
I
start
did
out for
it
you?
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually my first games I did some WoW. But I pulled away from that because WoW is, like I said, my comfort game. It's a thing I just like to do for fun. And to stream that, it felt like I wanted to play it just to play it when I wanted to, not to stream it, I guess. And so I'm like, all right, what other games could I play on stream? I tried out some indie games, which are great because some of them have, it doesn't take too long to get through a full game, might take a couple streams or whatever. So I started with some indie games. One of my earliest games I streamed was Celeste, which is an amazing, amazing game, super difficult. I don't know, streaming that to people, like how bad I was at it. I'm like, this is hard and I keep screwing up and everyone's watching me screw up, which is something you just have to deal with as a streamer who's playing games. And I'm like, I don't really want to deal with it.
Right.
And the backseat gaming and stuff like that. I'm just like, no. And for me, it was tougher to focus on like interacting with chat and things like that. So I did some indie games, did some WoW, and it just wasn't clicking. I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then I decided to do my makeup one stream, just like really regular makeup.
Mm-hmm.
I did like a colorful eyeshadow or something. I thought, I'm just going to chat with folks and put my makeup on and just hang out and see how it goes. And I ended up really loving it. I wasn't like all in on that yet because doing non-gaming stuff on Twitch, and this was maybe not that long ago, maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, Twitch creative was definitely a thing. It just, I wasn't sure about it. And then I went to TwitchCon that year for the first time and my eyes were opened. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. Just seeing everyone super passionate about all kinds of streaming. And I went out to dinner one night with a group of folks and I had met some body painters there, like body painting streamers, who I had chatted with, and it was like mutual friends. Like, you body paint as your streams? And they're like, yeah. So they were chatting to me about it, and I'm just like, okay, this sounds really freaking cool. So as soon as I got home from TwitchCon that year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try painting my face and see how it goes. And we'll just go from there. Mm-hmm. And once I started doing that, it clicked. It was like I found what I really enjoyed doing. I love making stuff anyway. I love doing art type of, I've always liked doing stuff, making stuff. Like it doesn't even matter what it is. I have a lot of short hyperfixations over time. And it usually involves like making something. So I don't know, I really loved it. And then it kind of started just taking off for me from there. Especially doing like full torso body paints. I would basically paint like to my hips almost, sometimes to like my stomach. And the streams would take, 7 to 13 hours.
Wow.
Like they were long. And I wanted, my goal at the time was to become partner. I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. And I noticed that, okay, I could pull in the numbers. Like, I'll be real. When you're going for that kind of stuff, you're looking at your numbers and like what works, what doesn't. And it was a little bit before TikTok really took off. So I wasn't doing like short form content or anything like that. But I leaned into that really hard. I'm like, you know what? If I make partner, it'll be doing this. And I was streaming about four times a week, 5 times a week, 7+ hours per stream. And it was really intense.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was do not recommend. I don't recommend doing that at all.
Yeah.
But I did earn partner that way. And I felt really like I felt great as far as, I don't know. I felt like I was making a name for myself at the time as a body painter. Like that was my thing. But I broke my body down doing it. And after I hit that partner like goal, I got really sick.
Oh.
So I noticed that, okay, so this was around like 2020. This was like 2020. So when everything was
happening with
It was like,
and all that.
yeah, I think that really helped as well. So this started really coming to a head in like January, February, March of that year.
Okay.
So folks were like, traffic on Twitch was really up.
Mhm.
And so I leaned even harder into it, and I got partner that year by May. And I crashed out after that. Like, I mean, I know a lot of folks that do this kind of like push go through something similar, where they push themselves so hard and they make it, and then it's like, I'm done.
Yeah. And they
that was
fall
too
off,
much.
right?
And they fall off. And part of it is, it's interesting because I don't want to put blame on like community or anything like that, but just a natural thing that happens. And I've seen it so many times. This isn't just with me, it's with so many other partners that I have spoken with about this topic. Is that once someone reaches, because communities really like to help with goals, kind of no matter what it is, which is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But when a partner pushes, once everyone kind of help someone get there, they're like, all right, you don't need us anymore. Bye. And it's like, wait, don't leave. I'm still doing this thing.
Don't go. Yeah.
Because that's one of actually the most critical times is after you sort of hit that, you can't just stop what you're doing. You have to do something with it.
Right.
Partner is just like a badge, really. Especially these days, there aren't that many like differences as far as what you get from Twitch. So you have to ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? What do I really want out of this? So when everyone kind of disappears, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Sure.
And people will notice like a drop in their numbers or something. It's very discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I got really sick. It triggered an autoimmune disorder, just pushing my body that hard. And I ended up not streaming for almost 2 years after that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you pushed, and then you got partner, and then you got sick.
Yeah.
And then
I
you
got sick.
took 2 years.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that like for you? Like going through all that?
Devastating. It was devastating. I put so much of myself into that growth, into building my brand. That sounds so cringy to say it, but like it's a lot of what we do, right?
It is.
I had put so much into growing like a shop. I had a shop for, prints of my work and things like that. I had grown my community. I had grown, you know, cultivated relationships with companies, sponsorships, all of that stuff. It was really like humming along. And it was just like so sudden, just like boom. Kind of just like rug pulled out from under me. And I went from doing all of this stuff to literally nothing. I was in full body like chronic pain, and was on the couch basically because I couldn't I couldn't do almost like the most basic like everyday things. Um And it took a long time to get a diagnosis, because just the healthcare system and
Yep.
going to doctors, and it just takes time, and you have to advocate so hard for yourself and just push for answers. And I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis in my hands, and um, eventually they figured out, like, okay, the best medications in order to get me out of like the hole I was in, basically.
Hmm.
Um, and it took a very long time for my body to even get back to a point where I could do um, just like basic stuff. Like streaming was completely taken out of the picture.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, you can't stream anymore. It's like, oh, you can't really walk right
Yeah.
now.
Basic
So
function, right? Like,
yeah, it was like that wasn't even on the radar at that point in time.
Yeah.
And it sucked because the space moves quickly. Um,
Oh yeah.
it moves quickly. It's just the nature of the beast. Like when you're not present on socials or on streams or uh, offline videos or thing like anything like that.
Yeah.
If you're not really present, people move on. Like there's nothing, it's understandable. That's just how it is.
Right.
So yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
It was really tough because I wanted to continue doing it so badly. I loved doing my body art, and um yeah, I was sad. I was in a really bad place. Um, but it was a goal of mine to get back to it.
Yeah. And
Um,
2 years later, you're
so
back, right? Like,
yeah.
what was all of like what did it take to get there, and what was it like coming back?
Oh, there was really a grieving process. Um, when it comes to like when it comes to facing a diagnosis, and when it comes to, I don't know, not being able to do stuff that you used to do.
Right.
Um, it was tough. I had to kind of relearn how to do a lot of just things that I didn't think about before, things that we take for granted, right?
Hmm.
Um, like sitting in a chair for 2 hours straight or 5 hours straight or 10 hours straight. Um, holding my makeup brushes and things like that. It took a long time for me to heal enough physically, um, to even consider going back. But at that point where I felt like, I sprinkled in a stream here and there to like test the waters just to see like how can I handle this again? How long
Right.
can I go? What is this going to feel like? So I did like a stream here and there and told folks like, "Hey, I, I can't say that I'm going to be back." And yeah, there were a couple of false starts really because like I wasn't there yet, and it
Yeah.
was frustrating. Um, because mentally I was ready, but physically I wasn't.
Right.
So kind of recently, I guess this earlier this year, I really gave it a go. I'm like, let's just see. And um, I couldn't quite go back to like full body painting streams right away. I thought, what can I do that is a little bit easier on my body, um, and still is like on the Twitch creative side of things?
Right.
And it was Lego. Um,
Yeah.
because like we do a lot of Lego here at home. I had seen a few Lego streamers. I didn't really realize it was
The whole thing.
a whole thing.
Yeah.
I watched a few streams and I thought, why don't I give this a shot?
Yeah.
And I don't remember what my first one was. But an early one that I did build was the Starry Night. Build, which was amazing.
Love that one.
And I remember what really encouraged me was that I was in Germany visiting family over this summer, and TwitchCon EU was happening, which was only about a couple hours away from where I was staying with my grandmother. And kind of on a whim, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a train, go to TwitchCon EU.
That's cool.
And just like see what it's about. And I met a bunch of LEGO streamers.
Oh, that was this year? Was that this?
Yes.
Oh,
that
so
was this
you
year.
met Johnny and
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I went to their panel. I built a little like tulip. It was like the community build area or whatever.
Yeah.
So I met and everyone was so encouraging and so passionate about streaming LEGO. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, all right. I kind of had dabbled in it like 2 streams or something. I'm like, no, all right. When I get home, I'm going to do like LEGO streaming. Okay. And then when I feel ready to do, you know, some makeup or body painting, whatever, I will. And I have. But LEGO has been, you know, it's been amazing. The community is awesome.
Yeah.
I've dabbled in a lot of different communities on Twitch, and it's one of the best ones, honestly. Like,
I love the LEGO community. I found it all about 3 years ago, and I haven't really like looked back.
3 years.
Yeah,
That's
so like,
amazing.
yeah, I mean, in those 3 years, I think for a good year and a half, I was like only LEGO, and then I kind of brought gaming back into it and all that. But like that panel, I actually organized that panel.
What?
So I was supposed to be there. I got COVID. So I was supposed to be there. Yeah, I I went to BrickWorld the week before. And then I got COVID. And then yeah, but I'm so glad that it's really Zach and Rutledge in the chat's like awards changing lives. No, I think that panel will happen. I mean, it happened without me, which is what I wanted. I wanted like if I couldn't be there, like I made sure that it's still like everything still happened. But that's really cool because I remember you referencing this in one of your streams, saying that you know, like you went to TwitchCon EU, you got to see some of the brick building folks. And I think at the time when I heard that, I remember thinking probably would have met her there. Probably would have gotten that opportunity.
We would have met that much earlier.
We would have met that much earlier. But it's really cool to hear how LEGO has really kind of, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but like kind of, I think, reinvigorated, I think, some of the things that you've been trying to do here on the platform, or at least given you a, you know, it's afforded you another opportunity to do something on the platform.
Exactly. No, it's very I don't know, it's very relaxing. It's a very relaxing thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a great activity to do while chatting with people. I feel like I just enjoy myself when I don't know, when I see a build come to life, and like when things really start to like come together in a build, and it's like, oh, this looks so cool. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. And then just with folks following along, I don't know. It's great. I've learned so much too. Like I'm still learning a lot. I still consider myself a LEGO noob a little bit, because I don't know all the part names. I don't know some of the tricks. Like I've learned a ton, from folks popping in and helping me out. But I love it. I love it because it's something that I can do even when I'm not feeling physically like 100%. And it's motivating. I don't know. It's been great. Honestly, I'm glad that I went for it, and gave it a shot. Like, I think that's just a big thing when it comes to content creation is if there's something that you wanna try, just try it. You know, it like, you might end up really loving it. It might turn into your thing. And if you don't, that's fine. Just go back to what you were doing or try a new thing next time until you figure out what it is that you love to do.
Yeah. I think it's incredible that like you've done, going through what you've done so far on Twitch, right? Like starting off in games and then
Mm.
body painting and then Lego, and just to see that whole evolution. I think many of us, like if you do this long enough, you start changing things up, generally speaking. I mean, not everyone, but
Yeah.
like if you're open to trying new things, you said, you may discover like the new thing that you're really excited about or focused on. And I can totally like, I feel that. I started off as like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was like a super sweaty RTS MOBA player for a while when I first started on Twitch.
Nice.
Admittedly, like when League hit its stride and Twitch became Twitch, that's when I
Mhm.
was like on the platform. Like I was, while it was just in TV and they were figuring it all out, is when I kind of,
A Twitch elder.
I am like in Twitch years, I'm like ancient. I shouldn't even be here. And yeah, I started off in that world, and then what really did it for me was
Wow.
charity streaming. Try playing those games
Okay.
for like 24 hours, right? And then I became more like, I was trying to figure things out. I went like you. I went indie for a while, like indie games. I was trying out different games, and I stumbled upon a game called Oxygen Not Included, which is like an
Okay.
indie space colony sim, and that became my game for like a year and a half. Like I pretty much streamed that in
Nice.
RimWorld, but mostly that, and then RimWorld for a while. And so I then, kind of got burnt out, wanted to focus on life, wanted to focus. We were talking about sleep earlier, right? Like I
I
wanted to get
wanted more sleep.
I wanted more sleep. I wanted to work out. And so I took some time. I took like 10 months off of Twitch. And then
Wow.
and then I came back and it's like, well, what am I like, if I'm going to figure out what it is gonna be, like I can figure
Mhm.
it out now. And I came back and I kind of did a lot of like what I would consider like the prototype for what this show is, where I started talking to other creators. I started learning more about like not necessarily the tech or like the method, although that was part of it. It was really about like the philosophy, the mentality, like the approach, like how we, our relationship with content creation. I started talking to other creators, bringing them on my stream, talking about that for a while. And then I realized I was like on this path to like guruship, and I didn't want to be that guy per se.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be useful. I wanted to create informative content, but I didn't want to be that guy. So then I kind of backed out for a while, went totally full on variety. And then
Oh, that's tough.
I know. And then that was super tough. And then the pandemic came. And then I discovered Lego. And I pretty much have been very like tied to that community ever
Mhm.
since. And so like you, I found kind of like the hobby, and then I found the people. And I was like, okay,
Yes.
I get it now. And I think that's what's actually really fueled my own passion for streaming and Lego, like just finding the people that I could connect with. And so I
I love that.
definitely, yeah, so I'm right there with you. It's really
It's
cool.
about the
It's
people.
about the people. And I'm so stoked that like you met like some of our EU folks who could kind
Yes.
of like encourage that. And that's always been kind of I want to say like the objective, the mission, like since I've become involved, was like, how can we make it more known? How can we get more people to understand like, hey, there's like there's a community of pretty rad people who happen to love Lego, but they're all just cool people. And as you've probably discovered in your time in the community, like a lot of us are gamers too, or also have other things that we craft and work in as well, in addition to Lego. And it's just such a cool community. And so I found you through the new category, which thanks to our friends Set to Build, who you met, and Brick and Nick, really kind of made that possible.
Yeah, they really pushed that. I think that was a game changer, because before, when I had done like my few Lego streams here and there, I was like, where do I put this? I tried, I think, in Just Chatting. I tried Makers and Crafting, actually, is where I ended up doing it for a bit, and put like the tags on there. And I thought, okay. But having the category was like, yes.
Yeah.
That is like, I found so many more people that way, because when I was putting together like my stream overlay and everything for Lego builds, I'm like, okay, what are other folks doing? Like, do I do the top down, and then the face cam? Like, how do I lay this out? And so I was just trying to find other streams to watch it. It wasn't easy to find. But when the category was finally like made official, I'm like, whoa, all right. I am going here. And yeah, it's been, I don't know. I think it says a lot about a category and a community when you can pretty much like blindly raid anybody in the category, and it'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
It's something that I never really did before. In a lot of other categories, like, am I just going to pick some random Just Chatting streamer to raid into?
Oh, man.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
And so I would usually go to, in my followed list or whatever, just find a friend or have someone recommend. But now, I don't know, I maybe it's an overgeneralization, but so far in the Lego and brick building category, I can feel pretty confident about just dropping into a stream, and it's going to be pretty chill.
Yeah.
And pretty safe. Like, I don't want to drop off my whole chat into some like toxic wasteland.
Oh, man.
Like, sorry, y'all. And the Lego category is just not that.
It's not like that. Yeah, the vast majority, I can agree, is very like safe in terms of, do I know this person? No. But let's find out. And generally it goes really well. And there's just something about, it's interesting because before the category, and as you probably learned when talking to some of the people in the community, all we really had was the tag. And all we really had before that was the team and the Discord. And it was really like, if you didn't know, and the thing I found after, which was kind of my guess, but like after the category came, I would see people in the category, and I totally just point blank ask, like, cool, like, how long have you been doing Lego? Or like, what made you stream Lego? And they'd be like, oh, I've streamed it a couple times before and Just Chatting, but like, I haven't found any, I didn't know there was people that actually would watch this. Right. And that was kind of the sentiment from the people that I would find that I'd never seen before, that weren't plugged into any of those other ways that you could connect with Lego Twitch streamers. And so it was really interesting because that category has really brought a lot of people out that would have been doing this sooner if it existed, or they had in some cases had been doing it in Just Chatting to like 5 viewers and didn't know that there was a whole like. And the other thing about the Lego community on Twitch is that if you give it a good shot, the people will find you, like the community will find you. Like if you're on here regularly doing Lego, they'll eventually find you. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I found that as well. I found that as well for sure. Like, it was very intimidating going back and basically rebuilding everything, and trying to, I don't know, a lot of my core community stuck around,
Right.
which is amazing, first of all. But in order to kind of get back to it and build things up again, it's like, well, I kind of want to be consistent with something. And yeah, having to stream into just chatting with
Oh
a
man,
tag. I mean,
you get
and then
buried.
makers and crafting though is great, is a great category as well.
Hmm.
And generally a little bit less riffraff than just chatting.
Absolutely.
So I stuck around in makers and crafting for a while, and yeah, TwitchCon EU and meeting other uh brick building folks and seeing the panel on the schedule. I'm like, a Lego thing? Okay.
Lego,
Let's
they do
ch-
that
a
here.
Lego thing?
Yeah.
Let's check it out. And I don't know, that's how after the panel I had joined the Discord. Like, whoa, okay, this is opening up for me
Yeah.
right now. And then I started putting together, okay, these are the tags that everyone's kind of using here. There's a community here for this.
Yep.
In Discord. Okay, I started putting the pieces together, but it took a while, and I think it would have taken longer if I hadn't have seen everything at TwitchCon.
Yep.
Honestly, it would have taken me a lot longer to finish putting those pieces together. Like, what is brick building Discord? Like, what
is all this stuff? Like,
it would have taken me a lot longer. We will find you.
We will
It kind
find
of
you.
felt that way. It kind of felt that way, like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you found that.
I love it though.
I'm so glad you found it. Yeah.
I am too. I don't know. It had been something on my mind for a while, like doing Lego content. Even before I even thought about it for streaming, like, oh, YouTube videos, which I still don't really do YouTube videos, but it's a goal. It's just like,
it's tough.
Time, right?
Yeah, it's
time,
tough.
And stuff. And I haven't watched like a ton of YouTube Lego content, but I had ideas. I'm like, okay, does anyone do videos like this? I don't know. Maybe I can do. And so I kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like, I don't know, learning about how deep this goes.
Tell me about that. Tell me more.
Some things I learned about were like custom minifig.
Oh yeah.
Things. Like where things are printed on the torso of a minifig. And I discovered this because one of my other passions is Star Trek. A lot of folks in my stream know that I could talk about Star Trek spontaneously. I could give a presentation spontaneously. That's one of, like, everyone has that thing, right?
Right.
And the thing is, there are no like official Star Trek Lego things. It's not one of their IPs.
Right.
Which come on,
wild,
Lego.
Right? Like, we have all this Star Wars stuff, right? And
why?
Yeah.
But I discovered at a local shop, they had a display of like custom figs from, I don't know, some online store, and they had a bunch of Trek stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
They had a bunch of the torsos, like the uniform, just the torsos with the uniform print.
That's rad.
Like I started actually putting some together. I bought the box of torsos. That sounds so weird out of context, right? But Lego.
Yeah.
I bought this box of torsos. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make my own crew. All right, let's do this. So like I have been digging through minifig accessory bins and heads and legs and all the kind of stuff in order to get, like, you know, things that look right. I've been having a good time with that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, discovering like mocks
Oh yeah.
and just all of that stuff and shops like is it everything has the word brick in it, okay? I have a hard time remembering. Um is it well,
Brickling.
I have the build right here. Is it brickables? No. No.
Rebrickable is one.
Well, that's a website. It's I'm in their Discord. Hold on. Let me
Mm-hmm.
Bricker Builds.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Bricker Builds.
Yeah, no, Bricker builds.
No, I
Actually,
bought
oh, you got the bomb. Or the bomb,
I
sorry.
have the tiny babam
Yeah.
that was sold at like one of my, like a local shop to me. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
whoa, like a company will put together with real Lego bricks.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, they need to do some Star Trek stuff. I'm just saying. But when I discovered all of like the mocks that people would upload to Rebrickable and stuff, I searched Star Trek right away.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
there's stuff out there.
Look at all these ships.
Yeah, there's.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, no, like you said, like it the rabbit hole goes deep, right? Like I think
I spent a full weekend the first time I went on Rebrickable just making folders of mocks that I want to build. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm in this now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually really incredible to hear that you've really found like another passion that you can get super into, and as well as create streams around, and you know, from what I can tell, like you said, your community is, at least, you know, there's some folks showing up for that, and you're
a lot of
able
them
to
will
share
show
that.
up to anything,
Which
and
is
I'm
true.
just like so grateful for that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Wow, y'all, seriously, thank you. Like they're like, we don't care. We don't care what you're doing. It's like, really? I mean, I think there's that aspect of like imposter syndrome. Like, why is anybody even watching me?
Yeah. Yeah. I ask that all the
But
time. You guys even doing here?
Why are you here? Why am I here? What am I doing?
My subscribe alert is you know, the name forgot to unsubscribe for and like X months, because I embrace that feeling, like, why are you still here? What are you doing? But I'm glad that you are in this Lego, like this whole brick building community, and you're from what I could tell, fully embracing it. And I guess my feeling or my thought about that is like, what is that like to, like you said earlier, you built your channel and your community on the body painting and just this whole different type of content. What's it like essentially starting over, as you yourself have even like kind of pointed out? What's that like for you?
You know, I have mixed feelings. It's hard sometimes. I think it's because there are a lot of folks who will see that I'm live who haven't. They're like, "Whoa, you're back?
You're here."
Yeah, you're here, and they're like, "Wait, you're not painting?
Yep.
Like, you're building Lego now?" And I think a lot of streamers go through that. If they changed content types or whatever, and you've built a community on a certain type of content and you switch it up, there are always going to be folks who are like, I'm out. I was here for body painting, or I'm here for, and that's cool. Like if folks want to stop by when I'm doing body painting and makeup, that's awesome. If they only want to watch Lego, cool.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was getting that a lot at first. Because like, yeah, it is definitely a shift of content style. Although at the core of it, not really. It's me just yapping on the camera for hours and hours.
Right.
But I think some folks enjoy, you know, seeing the process of, you know, a body paint. It's really different than, say, having like watching bricks being built and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So it was really tough at first because a lot of folks who are stopping by again are like, "Hey, are you ever going to paint again?"
Right.
And it was rough to have to say, "I will, but it's not going to be every stream. It might be like one stream a week or um when I feel physically able to." And the thing is though, I've always been very honest with my community about my health and where I'm at and stuff like that. For a long time, I sort of hid it. Like when I was really like pushing, the only people who knew what I was going through were my mods.
Mm.
Because behind the scenes, they knew what was up with me as my health started to decline. But a lot of folks had no idea. But after that, I was like, you know what? You know, I need to talk about this because one, I know that I'm not the only person to um, go through something like this,
Right.
and have health struggles. And a lot of people don't, they don't want to talk about that stuff. They don't want to bring the vibes down or whatever, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But for me, I just wanted to change things up and be really straightforward and have those conversations about chronic illness and being a content like creator and juggling those things, having a disability and how does that mesh with content creation and the pressure of this industry. The pressure can be so overwhelming at times because of just the nature of this whole thing.
Right.
And I had gotten to a place where I was like, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want on my stream. I'm going to do Lego and makeup. Is anyone else doing Lego and makeup? I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I told folks, there are going to be times where I fall off the map because if I have a flare up, I can't sacrifice my health for the sake of streaming because I did that before and it did not work out well.
Yeah.
And so I tell people all the time these days, like, your health isn't like, don't use that as the sacrifice. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like, that is one of the most important things to me is like, I'm not going to drag myself on stream anymore just to go live when I'm feeling like crap.
Yeah.
And I know so many people do that. And so many people have to for whatever reason, whether it's a sponsorship or, there are so many reasons. But for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that anymore. Like a great example, I don't think I've streamed in a month. I was streaming pretty regularly.
Yeah.
About 3 times a week. But as you know, like we had a wild power outage here. We lost power for like 4 days, 5 days. And I had family visiting before then. And then I got sick and then a month had passed. I'm like, well,
yeah.
I think this is the first time in a month like I've been on camera.
Yeah. And understandably, right? Because of all of those things.
Happens.
Yeah, that stuff happens. Life happens. Life gets in the way. It definitely makes it difficult to be present. And you said this earlier in our talk about like when you're not present, right? Like everything keeps moving regardless of whether or not you're live or posting videos or posting whatever. And
the internet keeps going.
Everyone who consumes it will continue to consume it with or without you. And then you might feel, I know I have felt like, oh no, I haven't been around in like a week or two. even like as little as a week or two, I'm like, I begin to wonder, because personally I've been going through that too. Work has been crazy, big push to do a lot of things before the holidays. I haven't been as present either. And so I'm like, man, even gone for like a week or not being as active as I normally am, it shifts, like the community, like you can tell, like it shifts, right? If you're not as present, and that just happens, and then you kind of have to accept that, right? Like especially if things in life are causing you to not be online, you can't help it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's that like acceptance. I think one of those things that I've learned to sort of, I don't know, just accept things.
Yeah.
Like it sounds so simple, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because I'm just really stubborn. Like when I want to do something, I want to do it.
Right.
But life and health, and it's tough because of that pressure, like that pressure that is just other than regular life pressure. But when you're a content creator,
Yeah.
you have that, like, I don't know, like that looming feeling of like, did you post? It's been a week.
Yeah.
Have you at least put something on like socials? Like, it's like, okay, when are you going to stream next? When are you going to,
Yeah.
where are you? Hey, it's like
Yeah.
just that thing sort of, I don't know, like nagging at you. At
Yeah.
least for me, that's what gets in my head
Oh,
is
totally.
like, where are you?
Are
You
you
need to do
doing?
these
Yeah.
things. Are you doing this stuff? Are you posting on
Yeah.
TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Blue Sky,
Are you
on
doing all the things?
Shorts? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's become this boom, 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 and all these influencers are like, oh yeah, you got to do all of that stuff, and it's like,
Right.
stop, leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough thing to like balance because the reality is like you kind of have to feed that beast
Yeah.
if you want to turn it into a career.
Yep.
Right. And you can't lose yourself, your health, um, all of those things in the process. And finding balance, it's like
You
folks
almost
will ask me, like, how do you balance things? I'm like,
yeah, it's
me?
I laugh too. I laugh too. I had someone actually ask me that not too long ago, like, how do you do all these things? And I'm like,
You don't see what I'm not doing.
yeah, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I am. Yeah, and it's tough. It's hard, and you know, like, I guess I gotta ask, like, what do you tell people when they like look like they're burning out, or like friends that ask about burnout, like how do you address that, especially like in the content creator space? Because I imagine, like me, you have a lot of creator friends, right? That you
Yeah.
talk about
I
this
feel like a
stuff to.
lot of us like do.
Yeah.
It can be sort of, I don't know, it can become like a circle jerk that way. Like,
It's
but
true.
yeah, these days I'm definitely just really straightforward with people about it.
Yeah.
It's not like a pretty sort of wrapped in a bow answer.
Tell it,
It's
right?
not what a lot of people want to hear. Because I will tell people straight up, stop.
Slow
A
down.
lot of people will a lot of people will say, "Oh, take breaks for your mental health," and they do
And
not
they
live that
don't.
advice at all.
Right.
And and it's like you can't just say it. You have to do it, which is the toughest part.
Yeah.
And some things have to be sacrificed. Something like that can sound very ominous. It's
It
really,
does.
it's not like, I think, yeah, when people ask me about it, I'm like, hey, you know, I I have been through it. When oftentimes folks don't realize that they're burning out
Mm-hmm.
at first. They they sort of realize when some things are too late and they've really hit like just they're wrecked.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get to that point. I think it's important to learn your own signs of burning out. Whether like there's like physical cues for you personally, mental cues, just you kind of have to really reflect.
Yeah.
And be honest with yourself. I know for me, like recognizing when my body is like, hey, slow down. I'm so much better at that than I used to be.
Right.
And so I just tell folks like, hey, you know, ask yourself, are you sleeping okay? Are you like eating like you're supposed to? Hydrating? These sound
all the basics.
basic, but like you gotta go back to the basics. Like sleep is so important. Like it sounds just silly saying it, but like it is. Like sleep deficit is real, and having joys outside of this. Like have some things that are just for yourself, not social media. Like not feeding the beast. Have something to feed yourself, only yourself.
Yeah.
Like you can't lose yourself in all of that. You know, I think a lot of us are we've trained ourselves to like, oh, I'm going to take a picture of this coffee that I just ran out and got or whatever. Right. And you're like so in that moment, like, oh, I'm going to take a picture, then I'm going to post it, then I'm going to respond to all the comments about it, and then I'm going to, and you're missing
like the point of it, right?
Your
like
moment.
Yeah.
That you're in. Just but be present. Like I think being present a lot more helps. When you feel that urge to like, oh, I should post about this.
Right.
Stop for a second and let the moment pass. Like for me, it usually will pass. Like unless it's something that I really, really, really need to post. But you know, the little stuff that, do you really need to?
Yeah.
You know, if you're in certain moments, like a lot of the first half of my day today, I did not go on my phone. Yeah. I was out doing errands, went to the coffee shop, sat in the coffee shop, drank coffee, had a nice sandwich, and looked out the window.
Yeah.
And just watched people talking and walking by and whatever. Like, I even pet a dog. Like, if I was sitting there on my phone,
you wouldn't notice all those things.
I wouldn't have noticed all that stuff. Like, you got to feed your soul a little bit outside of stream.
Yeah.
And that's different for everybody. Like, you just need to figure out what that is. Or you probably already know what that is. And you're ignoring yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Ask Kate about Jerry.
Wait, what? Okay, yeah, I'm seeing this comment.
Oh my gosh, Jerry. Jerry, that was such a joyful thing. So my daughter is 8. It's wild because when I started streaming, she was a very young toddler. So it's wild over time. Like I talk about her on stream and stuff like that. And over the years, I feel like my community has gotten to know her through the stories that I tell. So we were hanging out on the couch because we like to do these things. She calls them sleep downs. They're like little slumber parties on like non-school nights or whatever. And we'll like pile onto the couch and put a million stuffies on the couch and just like hang. Mm-hmm. And I was doing something and I came back in to the living room and I hear her talking to someone, but there was nobody else. And she's going on about Jerry. Jerry. I'm like, who the frick is Jerry?
Yeah.
So I go to the couch and there's Jerry on the couch. And Jerry was her onesie stuffed full of Pokemon stuffed animals. So it was the shape of a person sitting on the couch, and the head is a Bulbasaur head with like a winky face, and it's just like on the couch.
That's wild.
Just like there, and I'm like, oh my God. It's Jerry. Like and Jerry was a thing for like Jerry stuck around. Jerry was not disassembled for a good week and was like dragged around to everywhere and posed in like
God.
different ways, like Jerry. Yeah, that was
That's wild.
Yeah, and it was just funny because you see like the hands are like a Vaporeon tail and like different parts
Different
of the
Pokemon.
Pokemon
Oh
like
my
sticking
gosh.
out of the hands and feet and the
That's wild.
like it's Jerry. And yeah, just little stuff like that. It just
Enjoy those moments.
yeah, real like
Yeah.
all those kinds of things. Like, I mean, meeting that dog today was a highlight of my morning.
Yeah.
Like a little soft, happy dog in the cafe, had Jerry sitting on the couch, or I don't know.
Yeah.
You just have to feed your soul a little bit. If that means you have to put down your phone for like a few minutes, start small.
Yeah.
Fine.
Baby
Please
steps.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby steps. Like it's not going to happen overnight. It's like the Pavlov dog. Like we hear the bell and we start drooling. Like we're so trained like with the notifications, and I set up a focus mode on my phone.
Yeah.
Where it will turn off every like notification.
Yeah.
And, schedule it for certain times of the day, or I'll just turn it on when I'm like, you know what? I need to not see anything right now.
Yeah.
I love
the focus mode. I do the same thing.
So good.
I do the same thing. What I'm getting from you here is that like sometimes we like as creators, like you said, we get trained almost to like want to share everything or want to do everything.
Yes.
I know people who have gotten into like the Lego, Twitch side of things, and they're like, oh, I only do Lego when I'm streaming now, right? Because I want to share it all. And I've had that specific conversation where I'm like, do you ever just build Lego on your own, or and they're like, oh no, not anymore, I feel like I have to stream it. I'm like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should find a thing, like, because, and maybe if you're cool doing that and you're totally fine, sure. But like, I think a lot of the time we get so wrapped up in that where we forget that the joy of, in this case, Lego, is in the act of the Lego, right? And not necessarily feeling like you have to do it every time. Like you have to show it every time. It's okay to just build something.
Save some for yourself.
Yeah.
Save some things in life for yourself. Like, and like you said with Lego, I think I was going through that a little bit right at first because I didn't have a lot of sets.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I should build this on stream or whatever. And I totally understand that. And it's like, well, no, I don't want to lose my joy with it. And I don't want to stop myself when it's something I want to do, to be like, no, I have to turn it into content. It's like, we make so many bits of our just everyday lives into content.
Yeah.
And I think like if you are in a healthy space doing that, like I'm not going to judge anyone for it.
Yeah.
If it's really working for you, although I will say like that's honestly very difficult to make work.
It's tough. It's a tough thing.
Yeah. But And I think there's some sacrifice with that. Like you might lose some of those joys where you're looking at it through a phone screen, filming it instead of not
enjoying the
having that.
moment, right? Like you said
Yes.
earlier, like with the coffee shop example,
Mhm.
like that whole time that you spent today might not have been the same if you were deciding to actually
Yeah.
like you said, the whole example, take a picture of it and then post about it,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
I did not take a picture of my coffee or my amazing ham and Swiss croissant sandwich.
There you go.
I did not. Nobody knows what it looks like.
But you know.
I mean, other than the people there.
And you enjoyed yeah, that's true. And you enjoyed it.
And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it because I wasn't distracted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know? Like I'm fully tasting that sandwich.
I feel that. I will get down with a sandwich off camera for me.
Yeah, I think it's great to share your passions with folks online. I think that's how that is how so many of us have connected
Yeah.
and how we still connect. But
save some.
Gotta make sure, save some
for you, right? Like I've had that conversation. I think personally speaking, when I really got into like the Lego streaming thing for a while, that had hit me, I think 2-3 sets in. I was like, man, it'd be really fun just to, I should also just do this off camera and have fun with it. And that was definitely.
And you do?
Yeah.
Do you build off stream?
Yeah, I build a lot of smaller stuff off stream.
Nice.
And I have a lot of fun. And, my kiddos love Lego, so I build with them too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I definitely encourage people, especially people who get into like this, who are newer to it, like remember to like do this stuff that like the gamers, right? Like if you play games on stream, like do you play games off stream? Like that might be fun fun to do it again without having to do any of the content stuff on its own. So which I play a lot of games off stream because I'm now more of a Lego and podcast creator on Twitch, but for a while I was a gaming creator, and same thing, right? Like it took me longer to get to that point. Was the whole, I should just enjoy these like some of these games that I have without turning on OBS and hitting start streaming. Yeah. Like I could just play a game. And so, yeah, it's a good reminder. Definitely.
It feels good. Like sometimes, especially at the beginning of sort of making those choices, is like, this is uncomfortable.
This is weird.
You sort of, nobody's watching me do that. Like it's very, very weird when you get so used to it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, chat. I mean, wait, no one's here.
Right.
It feels weird. Like, okay, should I do this? Should I be saving this for content and just questioning myself about it? But it's like, no, just it's hard. It's going to be tough if you're trying, like if you're not in that space yet and you're trying to get there. It's hard to push through those feelings of like past that training, past that
right. You get
that
so
like
to
nagging, like this is not what I should be doing. It's like no, it is.
Yeah,
like
it's why you did
it. Do what you want.
Yeah, it's why you probably started streaming in the first place, right? Because you loved the act of playing a game or building a Lego set or whatever it might be. Doing your makeup. Right?
I just wanted to talk to. I just wanted to talk to people. I needed to talk to people. I needed a social outlet. So that was at the very core, at the start, of why I wanted to stream. I had my daughter not that long before. And as you know, like becoming a parent, it's like, who am I now?
Right.
What do I what do I do other than kid things?
Right. Am I just mom
Caregiving.
or dad? Right.
Yeah, like what am I other than mom?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know what? I just need to talk to some non-kids right now.
Yeah.
I just need to talk to, which on Twitch, I mean, sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just need I need a social outlet because I was a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
I'm like, I need some time. I need some me time. I need to find myself again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really just been at the core of it, of that journey, I guess, is like.
And Twitch helped you do that, right? Or how did that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like Twitch helped me do that. You know, it has its faults for sure at times. You know, when people are like, I'm a new streamer, should I start on Twitch? I'm like, honestly, if you're brand new at doing it, like it's not always the best choice for everyone and everyone's content type.
Depends.
You know, it depends. Yeah, exactly. It depends. Yeah. That's my honest answer.
Yeah.
But do I bleed purple? Pretty much. You know, but I will criticize them. I will give all the feedback when I am asked.
Yeah.
But I also will shout from the rooftops like how amazing of a platform it has been because of the people on it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the people who run Twitch. There are a lot of amazing folks at Twitch. But like what makes Twitch is the people on the website, you know?
Yeah. It's the people you've met, the connections you've made, not necessarily DJ Clancy 99.
Yes, exactly. And he's great. He's a fun dude.
Sure.
But yeah, like it's the folks in chat. It's other streamers. It's the culture that we've built over time. You can't really find that on a lot of other. I've streamed on other platforms before. I've tried this whole like multi-streaming thing, and you notice the differences right away.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting,
yeah,
to say the least. But the culture is something very unique, and I've said that directly to folks at Twitch too. It's like, hey, come on,
yeah,
this is why this place is what it is. So adding all of this other that no one really cares about or wants to use, or you're making all these changes, it's like, seriously, come on. I could go on. That's like a whole other topic, like going on about like a whole other on the next episode.
Hey, you can always do a follow-up sometime. That's totally fine with me. Yeah. No, I hear you. In terms of like, yeah, I love the people on Twitch. I love like all the people and connections I've made. The people I talk to the most are people I've met through Twitch these days. And getting to see them at like a TwitchCon or a Brick World or whatever is
I need to go to Brick World.
Oh man, Brick World. God, amazing. What a great. I'm sure you've had those conversations with with folks. But yeah, Brick World Chicago is an amazing experience, and every year more and more Twitch people get there. And last year was pretty big, and it feels like next year is gonna be kind of crazy. So
yeah, isn't it in like June?
Yeah, it's like Father's Day weekend usually.
Oh,
I know, right? Trust me, I know. That was a tough sell to the fam. But
I mean, it sounds awesome. Like I've talked to a few brick building folks about it, and the hype that I have like heard about, I'm like, oh, okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I'm in this, then maybe it's a good, way to really solidify those, relationships.
Think about it. Yeah. I won't I won't add to the peer pressure because there's a lot of it there. But yeah, I hit it up this year and the last one, and man, that was great. It was
Nice.
fantastic, and it was amazing. I got to spend time with a lot of the
Do it.
yeah, do it. Like a lot of the Lego. It's interesting. I ran into more Lego Twitch people at Brickworld than I did at TwitchCon.
I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense, right? Because that's what brings us to Twitch. That's what our content and community is built around. And so, yeah, like there was a very healthy group of Twitch like Lego people there, and there was a lot of blending with the general AFOL community, but also like a lot of our friends on YouTube and Instagram. We've done a lot of like inter-platform
commingling.
We a lot of it's kind of nice.
That.
It's very cool. It's definitely something I highly recommend. I've got my ticket and all that. So
there's already like tickets. Yeah. All right. Well,
so I'm already signed up for that, but definitely I'm so glad that like you found like the community. I'm so glad that you found just this fun group of people on the platform. So yeah,
honestly, so much fun. Like if somebody told, like if I knew nothing about Lego and someone's like, all right, do you want to hang out with a bunch of folks who build Lego? I don't know. I mean, I would naturally because I like Lego, but if I were just someone like, does that sound like a cool group of party folks? Like, I don't know if it does. No. You want to get down with the Lego people? Me right now, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like from getting to know the community, I'm like, yes.
Yeah. It's great. It was a ton of fun. The only thing I didn't care for was the last minute COVID that I got. That actually I think I was very
it prevented you from going
to TwitchCon, but I was one of very few people who actually got it. So hey,
that's good.
It is what it is.
But that sucks. Like
yeah, I was so upset, and I was like, how do I make this work? I was like going through like the different stages of like, it's like, oh, can I
acceptance of like not being able to do this amazing. I get it.
I was like, can I make this work? I'll be fine by then, right? And it was one of those.
You're trying to convince yourself like maybe this will work.
Yeah, I was like, I'll be fine by then, right? And then I kind of hit that cutoff point where it's like, well, if I'm going to like cancel my tickets and my hotel and do all of that and still get some money back, like,
you had to be an adult about it.
Yeah. But that was the only thing about it that I didn't care for. But Brickworld itself was fantastic, and nice. It is a perfect opportunity to meet up with a lot of the people just in brick building in general. But you will find a fair chunk of like the Lego Twitch community there. So
nice. I like that. The worlds collide.
Yeah, I never would have thought, even when I was first getting into Lego or back into Lego, I never would have thought that would be a thing that I would make a point to do. But hey, it was awesome. Got to spend a lot of time with friends, and
that's what it's about.
Yeah, it was great. So
stuff like that really like reinvigorates me as a content creator and just as a person too, to have just, I don't know, there's some folks I won't see but once a year at some of these things, and it's always like, oh, and I ride that high for a while after conventions.
Yeah, those conventions definitely, like going to a Brickworld or a TwitchCon, I always feel inspired. I always feel like, I can do this. Like, it'll be really cool to make some content, or it'd be really cool to build some Lego and talk, like catch up with all the people that I met or got to see at the convention. And so very cool. Very cool. Very cool stuff. Man, this has been fun. This has been I appreciate getting to know more about like you and you know what you've done over time. What for you is like the future of what you're doing now? Like what I kind of know where you've been, but like what are you hoping to, I guess, where's AFkayt at now? Like what are you trying to do?
Big question. Yeah, I think so. I want to continue to stream. I really enjoy that live interaction. There's just something it's really special, I think, interacting with folks live. I feel like there's nothing like it in content creation. I would like to do some things on YouTube to kind of expand that side of things, because I feel like when I have to sort of step away from streaming, at least if I have some online content, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have some stuff still go out. But like YouTube is a whole different world, man.
It's a whole nother game.
Oh yeah. And I am just like, whoa, overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it's a goal. Do more offline content. I want to do some creative things with Lego. I'd like to do some challenges. And maybe I can do a bunch of those live, instead of just like YouTube, because that stuff can be turned into YouTube content after the fact, which is nice.
Yeah.
Recycle that content. Yeah, I want to do more creative things, more artsy pieces, like mocks that are maybe a little more abstract, not necessarily like building specific objects, I guess. Like abstract art pieces. So maybe not completely like two-dimensional, but do you know is it the Milky Way build?
Yeah.
Where it's like a bunch of it's a lot of different pieces in order to make that like texture, that kind of stuff. I love to, like challenge myself with Lego, kind of taking to the next level. I love building sets. Like I got what did I get from Costco? Costco is amazing for Lego. I feel like it is such I don't know. Maybe people talk about it, but I feel like it's kind of underrated.
You could get,
but I had recently, I'd gotten a really great like Animal Crossing 2-pack, of like the KK slider, like performance, and it came with the birthday set for another. Anyway, it was great. So like building stuff like that is fun. I love it. But yeah, I want to further merge my like, I don't know, my art stuff with Lego.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to make it. It's intimidating. I'm like,
it can't, it can feel like that. Yeah.
So maybe that's down the road.
That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. I was gonna say, because given your talent, right, for the art that I've seen you do, like I feel like that would be a natural next step. So very
merging of interests.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's next. And I am working at trying to do some voiceover work, stuff that doesn't necessarily require me to be live. Right. I'm always thinking about like rethinking content creation that is accessible to me, and sort of breaking away from my comfort zone of like, oh, this is my go-to sort of thing that I do. Kind of branching out. I think this coming year, the end of the year, at least for me, I tend to reflect a lot. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Same.
okay, new year coming up. What do I want to do? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So creative Lego stuff, voice work, offline stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, definitely I'll be following along and seeing how that all goes for you. I definitely appreciate like getting to take the time to sit with you and talk about all of this, like this whole thing that is I don't know, Twitch and content and life
The
and
blob.
the blob. But yeah, Kate, thank you so much. This has been
No,
awesome.
I've loved it. You're really easy to talk to.
Thank you.
And, popping by your streams, it's always just the chillest vibes, which I really appreciate.
Thank you.
Um,
That's why I like
so
your streams too, because they're the same to me in that regard. Like I like the relaxing, like that's what
yeah.
Lego does for me. Like I love like the fact that I just feel more relaxed when I do it, and that's kind of the vibe I try to like embrace, and that's what I appreciate about what you do. So yeah, thank you so much for doing this. Of course, afkayt on Twitch, and
Yeah,
then
thank
where else are
you.
you on the internet?
All over. afkayt is my handle pretty much everywhere. I am sometimes on Instagram. I usually post my art there. Like my body painting and makeup is usually posted on my afkayt Instagram. I have considered doing a dedicated Lego one because I feel like it might be weird to post Lego stuff there, but I'm
Fair.
probably overthinking that. Um, I've kind of pulled away a little bit from Twitter. I still
Yeah.
do have a Twitter profile, but I'm trying to use Blue Sky more often.
Mhm.
So, like, if you search afkayt there, I'm there as well. My YouTube's the same
Great. Yeah.
too. There's mostly just streams up there at the moment,
Yeah.
multi-streaming to YouTube.
Fantastic. I have one last thing that we always do here on the show,
Ooh.
and I ask the guest to close it out. So, whatever you would like to say, whether it be final thoughts, advice, wisdom, or just anything on your mind as we finish this episode, I'm going to leave it to you,
Mhm.
Kate, to close it out. So, the floor is yours.
Okay. I would say touching back on a big topic of I guess today's podcast is feed your soul, um, pet that dog, drink that coffee, be present, experience those little joys. And I don't know, I think we all need a bit more of that for sure. Be present and listen to yourself, listen to your body.